Alright guys, welcome back. I hope you did the test well. Now let's see what next is remaining in this section for you guys today. And that would be completing sentences. In the previous section, you completed a sentence by choosing the most appropriate word. Here you'll be completing sentences by choosing the most appropriate sentence or a phrase. So, question number 1. Despite his best efforts to conceal his anger, now let's look at the options here. Despite his best efforts to conceal his anger. Now this is the question part. Now in the blank we need to add a sentence out of these 5 options, out of which suits the most appropriately to this. So in this you'll have to keep an eye towards the subject, verb and its predicate if it agrees to each other. Predicate in this terms is the object, guys. So anything apart from the subject becomes the predicate. So the verb and the object should be complementing with the subject. So let us see what is the most appropriate sentence here. So despite his best efforts to conceal his anger, we could detect that he was very happy. So anger and happy are exact opposites and they're not complementing to each other. So let us see the next option. Despite his best efforts to conceal his anger, he failed to give up an impression of his agony. So then again, it just sounds right, but grammatically, as you can notice, so despite his best efforts, so except his best efforts to conceal his anger, the sentence starts again with he. So his gets converted to he. So then again here, the noun doesn't complement with each other in the conjunction sentence. So even option B is negated. Option C automatically gets removed because the sentence starts with he here as well. Similarly goes to option D. So you need to keep an open mind for such aspects here where you're getting confused, because points like these are the key factors in subject-verb agreement that will help you in deciding whether the statement is complementing to itself or not. So that leaves us with the final option, that is, despite his best efforts to conceal his anger, people came to know that he was annoyed. So, despite his best efforts to conceal his anger was shown outside. At the same time, people came to know that he was angry. So, there is a shift in the noun clause. So, people came to know that he was angry. So, the noun clause becomes singular from people came. So, till there it was plural. To know that, when that modal verb helping you there, he is singular, was annoyed. Who was annoyed? Despite his best efforts. So his becomes he there. So the correct answer, as you can see, is option E. Question number 2. If I come, it will not rain. Or B. If it rains, I shall not come. Or C. I will certainly come whether it rains or not. Or D. Whenever there is rain, I shall come. And E. I am less likely to come if it rains. So let's look at the sentence. Even if it rains, I shall come. So let's just break the sentence here. Even if it rains means if it rains or if it doesn't rain. Let us look at the first case. Even if it rains, I shall come. So even if it doesn't rain, I shall not come. So that is a clear understanding that it's option C here. So I will certainly come whether it rains or not. So correct answer is option C. Continuing on, now let's see some more sections, some more questions. So question number 3. His appearance is unsmiling, but A. His heart is full of compassion for others. Or B. He looks very serious in most occasions. People are afraid to talk to him. That's option C. D. He is uncompromising on matter of task performance. He is full of jealousy towards his colleagues. So it is the exact opposite of the meaning that is in the sentence here. His appearance is unsmiling, but his heart is full of compassion for others. So, or could it also be his appearance is unsmiling, but he looks very serious on most occasions. So that pretty much means the same there. He's unsmiling, looking serious. His appearance is unsmiling, but people are afraid of him. Of course, if you are unsmiling face, then you're afraid of people will be afraid of you. But here, the word but gives a completely opposite meaning to the sentence. His appearance is unsmiling. So none of these sentences work out so far except option A. So option D, his appearance is unsmiling, but he is uncompromising on matters of task performance. Still, let's look at the final option. His appearance is unsmiling, but he's full of jealousy towards his colleagues. So pretty much, except option A, all other options seem sour and negative, whereas only the first sentence puts it on the positive note. So his appearance is unsmiling, but his heart is full of compassion for others. So correct answer is option A. So question number 4. She never visits any zoo because she is a strong opponent of the idea of. So you clearly understand that the sentence is trying to tell that she hates visiting zoos because she's a strong opponent about something that is related to putting things into cages here, because she never visits zoological gardens. So let us look at the options now. Setting the animals free in the forest, feeding the animals while others are watching, watching the animals in their natural abode, going out of the house on a holiday, or holding the animals in captivity for our joy. So it is the options here stands for itself. The first four options, options A, B, C, and D, all go in favor of animals being free in the forest, or where feeding the animals while others are watching, and the natural habitat, watching the animals in the natural habitat, and like, or going out of the house on a holiday. So most of this are pretty much related to each other, and you can understand all of this is not permitted in a zoo. The only thing that is permitted in a zoo is to hold the animals in captivity so that people come to visit and see. So she never visits any zoo because she is a strong opponent of the idea of holding the animals in captivity for our joy. So the correct answer here is option E. So let's see a couple more examples before we go for our regular test. Moving on, let's see the next question. I felt somewhat more relaxed. Options are A, B, C, D, and E. So I feel somewhat more relaxed but tense as compared to earlier. I feel somewhat more relaxed and tense as compared to earlier. I feel somewhat more relaxed as there was already no tension at all. I felt somewhat more relaxed and tension free as compared to earlier. So I felt somewhat more relaxed because the worry had already captured the mind. So understanding the first half of the sentence here, I felt somewhat more relaxed meant that you are already feeling relaxed and you're feeling more relaxed about that. That means whatever stress or tension that was within you is going down and down. So let us look at the sentence which supports that the most. So the first one says, but tense. So it means you're relaxed and at the same time you're feeling more tense. The second option tells you're feeling relaxed and tensed. Doesn't really go hand in hand. So third option says that as there was already no tension at all. So how can you feel more relaxed if there is no tension? So the statement doesn't justify. Option D, so I feel somewhat more relaxed and tension free. So basically you're feeling two things. You're feeling relaxed and at the same time you're also feeling tension free. So whatever tension stress you had is coming down. And finally, we have option E. So because the worry had already captured the mind. Tricky, but somewhat I feel option D is much more convincing because it is supporting or complementing with two subjects here. So the correct answer is option D. Question number 6. It is not easy to remain tranquil when those around you, option A, behave in a socially acceptable manner. Option B, exhibit pleasant mannerism. Option C, are losing their heads. Option D, agree to whatever you say. Option E, exhibit generous, magnanimous gestures. You weren't supposed to see that, but okay. So let's look at the relativity here. So that is, it is not easy to remain tranquil when those around you behave in a socially acceptable manner. So let's look at the question here, guys. It is not easy to remain tranquil when those around you is a statement that tells that you cannot be tranquil if people around you behave in a socially acceptable manner. That goes totally against it. If someone is being acceptable around you, why would you not remain tranquil? So no, option A doesn't make sense. Option B, exhibit pleasant mannerism, of course not. So you should understand, guys. So the first sentence is trying to tell you that if there is something unresourceful coming against you, that is going to make you not very happy about it. So what is that something that could make it unresourceful out of these sentences? Because the first two options is clearly very resourceful to each other. Option C, are losing their heads. Yeah, quite unresourceful. And let's put this in a sentence. It is not easy to remain tranquil when those around you are losing their heads. Yeah, sounds good. It is not easy to remain tranquil when those around you agree to whatever you say. Again, we are back onto the positive end. So, doesn't make sense. If someone agrees to you, why can't you remain tranquil? Lastly, option E. If it's not easy to remain tranquil when those around you exhibit generous and magnanimous gestures. So magnanimous means something that is giving, something being praiseful. So if somebody is trying to praise you, that's a magnanimous gesture. So all are on the positive end except option C. So I think it is option C. Let us see. Correct answer is option C. So now, guys, it's time for that test that we were talking about. And in this test, we will be putting across all the questions that we learnt about filling in the right words or choosing the right sentence that complements with the first half of the sentence. That way, you will understand how to fill up sentences better. So with that, I'll always mention that keep reading, keep studying, keep attempting more competitive questions like this. That way you will get a really good grip over how to solve large question papers. So that, all the very best, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.